All right, if I could have you guys' attention in the media center. We're going to continue on with our media availability for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're joined by 4 drivers here today. We have Elliott Sadler, the number 1 Main Financial Chevrolet. Then we are also joined by Garrett Smithley, number 0 FameUSA.com Chevrolet. Then we have Justin Allgaier, the number 7 Branded Professional Agriculture Chevrolet. And Christopher Bell, number 20 GameStop Hello Neighbor Toyota. All right, guys, you've had about 2 weeks off now, and we're coming back, and we are going to have the My Bariatric Solutions 300, and it's also going to be the kickoff of the Dash for Cash program. Can you guys just kind of tell how aggressive you're going to go into that with that program returning and trying to end up in one of those 1 through 4 qualifying positions?
Yeah, for me, not as aggressive as I went into California, because if I can't afford that mistake going into Bristol next week, need to be in those top 4 positions. So it's a shame that we went into the break after me making a mistake like that, because we had a really good run of strong finishes going through Atlanta, through Phoenix. So just looking forward to rebounding on that and hopefully becoming in the top 4 Xfinity regulars.
I'm so nervous right now. I hadn't been in the media availability in so long. I kind of forgot how all this works. I even wore my hard card just in case you guys wouldn't let me in. Exactly. I don't know what to say. These bright lights get me nervous sometimes. Thought you guys were mad at me. You weren't going to let me back in anymore. So we're looking forward to the Dash for Cash, and we'll try to qualify this week to be ready for next week.
I think our season so far has been a lot of fun. You know, we had a great car at Daytona, and obviously didn't get the finish we wanted, but been on a streak of finishes that have been good for us. Obviously, Junior Motorsports, all 4 of our cars have been strong since the beginning of the year, and to have 1, 2, 3 in points and to have a good race team around you, I think that's always a great thing. Obviously, the main goal is to try to get to victory lane, get one of our Camaros to victory lane, get the cowboy hats. But on the flip side of it, obviously what Xfinity does for the sport in this series, the Dash for Cash program, having it back again, it's something that for us is it means a lot, not only to the drivers but to the teams, and so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I like the format this go around, and hopefully we can put ourselves in position. Bristol's a great racetrack for me, so Texas is predominantly not. So I want to run well this week and try to put ourselves in position next week at Bristol when we feel like we have an opportunity to go win it.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna make Elliott feel old. This is my first media availability in here, so which for me is pretty cool. I'm gonna be a big dork and say that since I've been following NASCAR, I've kind of been obsessed with watching media center footage, because I think it's hilarious sometimes, and just kind of shows drivers' personality. So it's pretty cool for me. But no, for me, it's been my best start to an Xfinity season. This is my 3rd year with JD Motorsports, and we've been running really strong. Ross has had some really good runs, kind of showing what JD Motorsports can do. And we've been working on our equipment all off season and building composite bodies, and it's just been a really good start for us. We've got a lot of exposure, and really lent us to kind of get some sponsors, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's been a really good start for us, and I just hope we can carry that momentum throughout the season.
Fantastic. We'll open it up to questions. Start with Lee.
I've got 2 questions. First, Christopher, it's a home game for you with GameStop. I think you already visited there. What kind does that add pressure, knowing that your sponsor's in the backyard of Texas Motor Speedway?
A little bit. I mean, there's already pressure just driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, because you're supposed to win when you drive for them, and especially whenever you're driving for a company like GameStop, who's won a bunch of races, and they've had a lot of great drivers drive their race cars, and I think Eric won both home races last year, so be a great place for us to win our first race this year. But there's nobody can put any more pressure on myself than what I do.
You feel a little bit of support though from them, having gone there and made that connection with the people before you come out?
Yeah, it's cool. I got to go to GameStop, I think, last November, whenever this deal kind of got finalized, and I got to meet everybody, and everyone was excited to have me, so that was really cool. So, I just need to run good for him.
And Elliott, you've seen this track change over the years. What, the way it is now compared to how you first ran on it, what's the biggest thing that you've noticed from the driver's seat?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and a little tidbit for you, I was actually the first ever driver on a race car on this track in 1997, and I think it was January, February. It was still lime on the racetrack when we came and tested here. And it's changed a lot since then because they told us it was going to look like Charlotte, and it didn't look like Charlotte. The biggest thing is with 1 and 2, the way it is now, has really changed our racing groove. It's a lot different than 3 and 4. The new asphalt they put down, it's just a better grade of asphalt, so it's going to keep grip longer. But to me, until turns 1 and 2's groove really winds out where you can kind of use the whole track a little more, track position, where you're at on the track, on the bottom lane compared to the top lane and things like that are going to be very, very important at that part of the track. And that's the biggest difference I've seen is, a couple years ago before they repaved it, Texas was all over the track, the bottom, middle of the top. Now, the bottom's the fastest way around. It's good asphalt. It might take a little bit longer to move that groove up some, especially in 1 and 2 because you don't have the banking to lean on. So I was proud to see Eddie do some tire dragging stuff and all that to see kind of how that all plays into part. But you always want to see the track widen out as much as you can in 1 and 2 here, Lee, because of restarts and stuff like that in case you're stuck on the outside. So hopefully the winter has been, I hate to say this, rough on the track and aged it a little bit. So the groove will widen out for us some. You're welcome.
All right, we'll go to Chris, and then over to Jerry, and then over to Jeff Gluck.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Elliott, you're the only driver to have finished in the top 10 in every races so far in 2018. Does that mean anything, especially since you hold the points lead since Atlanta?
That's a good question. I was wondering if, we were part of the closest finish in NASCAR history, and we've led the points pretty much every race since then, and you guys hadn't asked me to come in here and talk to y'all. I was starting to think I did something wrong. Who decides who comes in here anyway for media availability? Chris Knight does? Okay. Chris, I'm going to start calling you, buddy. What it means is we're just, Justin hit on it earlier. We're off to a good start, and we got some momentum on our side, and we want to keep building on that. But I've learned as a driver, because I'm 42 years old, not 24, that it's all about homestead. So yes, we are off to a good start, and we're just going to keep building on that and keep our emotions level. And then keep on plugging in the right direction because we know we got to come back here in the fall and be good. So we'll look at this race a little bit differently because it is part of the playoffs when we come back.
And for Garrett, JD Motorsports has gone through significant transition as far as performance this year. How are you guys meeting your goals, and what are some of your goals for 2018?
Yeah, I think for us, our guys have worked so hard in the off season to build these cars and to bring the best equipment that we can. To the racetrack. I think it's a big testament. Johnny went out on a limb this year and said he's going to bring 4 cars full time and run them. And it's really cool for him to say that because he wouldn't do that if he didn't believe that we could do it. So our guys have been working so hard, especially the West Coast swing, in between there and getting ready for that. They work, I don't even know how many hours. I've watched their Snapchat, and they're always at the shop, and I try to get down there as much as possible, just to support those guys. They've been working so hard for us, and for us, we just, we want to keep improving. We want to keep improving, week to week, year to year. I think it's really cool for me and Ross to come back. It's kind of weird being veterans of JD Motorsports. We have 2 rookie drivers, and then me and Ross. Ross has been around. This is his 4th year, and it's my 3rd year. And that's pretty crazy to think about. But we just keep improving, and ultimately, me and Ross want to be in position to make the playoffs at the end of the year.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires.net and PRN. Garrett, since you've never been up here before, I'll fire one off at you. You actually have a couple of sponsors that you brought on for this race, Fame, and then also Trophy Tractor. I did see you out standing next to one of those big tracks. Did you try to drive one of those? I mean, you could have crushed these guys on the track with it.
Yeah, I tweeted a picture, and Trophy Tractor has all this equipment. He's got small skid steer loaders and all this Caterpillar stuff, and then in the back, they've got like giant trucks that he said that they have like 1,200 horsepower or something like that. And he wanted me to get in one and drive one, and I told him maybe next time. I kind of got nervous. I don't know if I could handle driving something that big, but no, it's really cool. You know, for us to have the year, we started out at Daytona, finishing 5th. Career best for me. I think it's the second best finish for JD Motorsports, and that kind of, you know, was the catalyst for what's going on right now. Fame came on board in a big way. They're doing 8 races this year, minimum. Hopefully we can grow that a little bit more. And Fame stands for Federation of Advanced Manufacturing Education, and basically what all that means is it's an education program for kids to get into manufacturing. And I've become very passionate about Fame because my cousin went through the program, and he now works full-time at the Toyota plant in Georgetown. So he has a long-lasting career, and it's not just another sponsor for me. It's I hope with my platform in the Xfinity Series to grow the program and to give opportunities to kids, my generation and generations to come, to have careers in manufacturing. So it's a really cool program. I hope we can grow it throughout the season, and we'll just see where it takes us.
All right, we'll go over to Jeff, and then we'll go over to Jim.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. For Christopher, so what did go so wrong for you at Fontana? You touched on it, but why did that race not go the way you wanted?
Well, it started out really good. Every time we unloaded a racetrack, we have really, really good speed. And then I don't know if these guys catch up on us or what, but like practice, I can always be up there. And
Takes us a while to warm up.
So, yeah, so qualifying's been going great. And then, you know, they dropped the green flag, and I'm just kind of struggling. And then we made the car better and better throughout the course of the race. And then ultimately what finished us off was my mistake spinning out. So if I don't spin out, then I think we have another possible top 5 day, which would have been good momentum leading onto the break. Instead, we had a 20th place finish and no momentum.
All right, Jim.
Jim Hunter, motorsport.com. For Elliott, over the last 2+ seasons, you have vastly dominated the #1 position in points with your team. On one hand, you haven't won the championship, but on the other hand, there are probably very few teams in any level that have been able to have a grasp on the top position throughout an entire season like that. What does that say about your particular team, the ability to continue to do that year after year?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked it that way. I wish I could sit here and take the credit, but it is the team. You know, they make me look good. We got a good bunch of guys, and I think they were telling me the other day, 75% of the races I've been with Junior Motorsports, we've been first place in the points. And that says a lot for them and how much hard work they put into it. And they give Justin and I and our teammates a good opportunity each and every week to perform on the track. And you use different things as motivation, things that you see, things that you read. But we love trying to put ourselves in that position to go back to Homestead again and have another run at it. We know how tough it's going to be able to try to do that, but we love the speed that we're seeing and the consistency that we're seeing and staying up front. But to tell you going to Junior Motorsports hadn't changed my life, I'd be lying. It's been a breath of fresh air for me. I feel like a kid again. It's fun coming to the track. You know, I have full support of Dale and Kelly, but also my team, the One Guys, and also our sponsors. And we actually had a new partner come on board yesterday that we'll talk about that later on. So it's a lot of cool stuff going on in my life and my career now. And I know I have less starts ahead of me than I do behind me. So it's neat to kind of be running the way we're running week in and week out and enjoying being at the racetrack.
And one question for Garrett. As you talked about the improvement of the organization and your team in particular, have you found your personal expectations change a little bit about what you think you're going to get out of each race weekend?
Yeah, I definitely. I'd be lying if I said that I felt like we did a good job last year in the Zero team. We really struggled most of the year. We hit on something at the end of the year, and we made some changes, and that was really positive for the team. So really for me personally, I just wanted to get back to having fun because last year I kind of lost that a little bit, and maybe wasn't working as hard as I should have been. And it's been really fun. We've been bringing really fun race cars to the track to drive. At Vegas, I've never had a car drive like it did at Vegas, and we were fighting some stuff. We were fighting some tires and some other things, but I was just having a lot of fun in the car. So I think as the season progresses, you look at Ross's top 10 run at California. You look at our, we haven't finished outside the top 25, which was really difficult for us to finish inside the top 25 last year. So I think we've improved. I think again the competition level has improved, from last year, and really we just want to improve week to week. We just want to do better than we did the week before, and once we get to these tracks where we're going back for a second time, I think we're really building a good notebook, and we have a really good team around us.
All right, do we have any other questions? We do. Need a mic to Lee.
Just yell it out, Lee.
Christopher, I saw people coming over to see you. This is a home game for you, isn't it, so to speak? I mean, how many people are you expecting to come this weekend and support your effort?
Yeah, well, over the last 2 weeks, I got to race in Oklahoma, got to do a midget race in Oklahoma. So all my family got to come to that, and that was really cool to have them all out there. So as far as family, I don't know if I'm going to have too many people. I know my mom and dad are definitely coming, but which is good that, I don't have my entire family coming, because I'm going to have a bunch of sponsors around, with GameStop being right here in Dallas. So definitely have a lot of sponsors, not as much family.
And Justin, can you talk about the rivalry between you and Elliott? Because, I mean, from the standpoint of, it's
Do
always...
we have a rivalry?
Well, it's a friendly rivalry, but I mean, you guys, Elliott clearly has a lot more experience than you do, but you have equal equipment, you have solid teams. I mean, it just seems like it comes down to Homestead each year, and the two of you are going at it. And how do you kind of, remain friends, or, try not to remain friends? Because if you are, some of these feelings are going to get hurt at the end of the day.
We sat on a plane yesterday, sat next to each other, and watched a movie all the way here. So
He even had a splitter he let me use.
I did.
I mean, if that's not teamwork.
13 hours. He had never seen it, so
No,
we
was
went.
it 13 hours?
Well, no, it was 12 hours.
No, Lone Survivor.
Oh yeah, the Lone Survivor. Sorry.
We
Lone
almost
Survivor.
watched 13 hours,
Yeah.
but I'd already seen that. So
Yeah.
he let me use his iPad, and we used a splitter, and we shared in a moment.
Yeah.
It's worked out
It
great.
was nice. Yeah.
That's good.
Honestly, I think one of the things that's kind of the beauty of junior motorsports is that we all get along really well. Whether it's Elliott and I, or Michael or Tyler. Having Tyler come on board this year, he's been a great addition, because I feel like, we kind of grew up in the same path, in what we grew up in, racing and driving different types of cars, and we've just had a lot of fun. And our teams, our crew chiefs go to lunch a couple times a week. And I mean, they're only home a couple days a week, and they still go to lunch together. Our crew guys all work in the shop together, and help each other out. I mean, it's not uncommon to see somebody from the 1 or the 9 or the 5 over on my car, or vice versa. And that makes a big difference. We've got fast race cars, and last year we were lucky enough to have 3 cars in the Final Four at Homestead. That's huge. But we raced it out on the racetrack. Obviously, we didn't have the day we were looking for at Homestead, but between William and Elliott, they battled it out all the way to the end. And for us this year, we've fired off at Daytona and had a good car and crashed early. And I think we were 55 points behind Elliott or Tyler actually at that point whenever we went into to the next race, and I think we're 5 back now. So we've all run really well. Elliott and I battled it out all the way to the checker flag last week in California. It's been good. It's been a lot of fun, and obviously Homestead's different, but we cheer each other on all the way to Homestead, and then when we get to Homestead, we're still all personable, and we're still
That's
all
right.
on the same team. We just
May the best man win.
yeah, and kind of our deal is just don't wreck each other.
Yeah.
Race each other as hard as you need to, and push each other to try to win races and championships, but just don't wreck each other. I think that's the big thing for Kelly is every time I talk to her, Kelly and LW is like, hey, we know y'all are going to race against each other today. Just don't go wreck each other. So
I've been doing this a long time, and it's 2 different ways you can be a teammate. I've had teammates that, as long as they're 39th on the board and you're 40th, they're happy because they're the fastest guy. But if they're 5th on the board and you're 4th, they're mad because you're a little bit faster and would not work with you at all. And I've had teammates that's open book. We share everything, and we're the leaders. Look, the drivers are the quarterbacks of these teams, so teams are going to follow by example. They're going to follow our lead. So if I work with Justin and Tyler and Mike on everybody, the teams are going to do the same thing. But it all starts with us. And we've just learned that the more we can help each other, the more information we can share, the better everybody is in our organization. And that's my responsibility as the senior guy, right? And that's Justin's responsibility because his experience too, because we have more experience than Tyler and Mike, on the same thing with William last year. But it all starts with us. But I feel better sharing information, and when we get down to Homestead, may the best man win. And that's kind of the attitude we've had.
Yeah, it works out really well.
Well, that's up to them to break that up, but it's not going to happen between us.
Yeah.
It's up to other teams to try to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And
How do I come back in here? Like, how do I get back? So Homestead, I'll see you at Homestead? Is that it? Is that the next time I come back? I'm invited?
We'll mark it down now.
Who? A gift card? All right, I'll talk to Tom.
I have to say one thing real quick. So Sunday is my dad's 70th birthday. So we got a little decal in the car this week to wish him a happy birthday. And he's never missed one of my races. So Christopher said something about his parents being here. My dad's never missed one of my NASCAR races. So it's pretty cool that he gets to celebrate 70. Elliott and I actually talked a lot about that on the plane when we were watching a movie about family and what it means to have family at the racetrack. But I got to wish him happy birthday.
Okay.
I think he made every ARCA race up into. I'm pretty sure he made every ARCA race. The stuff before that obviously was a lot harder to make just because the way he was working and doing things. But I don't think he's ever missed an ARCA race, and I know he's never missed a NASCAR race.
I can't let Justin one-up me. Today is my wife's 29th and holding birthday, so I better send out a happy birthday to my wife. Okay, now I'm good.
Any other shout-outs?
I'm good. Anybody?
No? All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good weekend.